Greetings, Georgia State Council 2021 for your council session. Bishop J.D. Guthrie and Lady Marsha Guthrie. Bishop and I send our greetings to you from Alabama to Georgia. It's an honor for me to be able to be with you this afternoon via Zoom. I tell you, it's been over a year and our lives have had to totally change because of the pandemic. People say negative things about it, but I feel there are some things, I know there are some things that I personally was able to glean from this time. So I'm excited about being here to share with you on today. And to the ministers' wives, hello, greetings to you. First ladies, my sisters, greetings to you. My session today, I am going to talk to you about It Starts With Me. I'm going to ask you just to take your hand and place it on yourself and just tell yourself, it starts with me. Of course, because I am an academician, I always give research or data, but I'm going to give Bible verses on today to support what I'm actually talking about. And it's Bible verses that relate to self-care. The first one is Ephesians 2:10, and it states, "For we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." The next one is 1 Corinthians 3:16, and it states, "Do you not know that you are God's temple and that God's Spirit dwells in you?" The third one I want to highlight is Isaiah 64:8. "Yet you, Lord, our Father, you are the clay, you are the potter. We are all the work of your hands." And the last one I want to emphasize is Ephesians 5:29. "For no one ever hated, his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ does the church." Well, really, I could stop right there and go no further when it comes to self-care. And it's time for me to do something about it. So what do you mean when you say it's time for me to do something about it, Sheila? Well, there's some things that we need to do when it comes to doing something about it. The first one, we have to forgive ourselves. I don't care whatever happened, whatever we did, whatever we said, whatever was implied that we done or said, we have to forgive ourselves. And this one amazes me because we have a hard time doing that. We have a hard time doing anything for ourselves, but you have to forgive yourself. The second one is, I love this one, surprise yourself. Wow. Have you ever done something and you were like, I cannot believe I just did that? Let me give you a quick, for example, for me. I had never been on a roller coaster until 4 years ago. Never ridden a roller coaster in my life. I had this fear of heights and I was like, oh, I can't do it. So I went to Toledo and I told my youngest son, I want to go to Cedar Point. I need to ride a roller coaster. Well, I got on that roller coaster. I shut my eyes. I held my stomach as tight as I could. But guess what? I surprised myself and I was able to do it. Now, when people ask me about how was it, I have to be honest and tell them, I don't know. My eyes were closed. I didn't see anything. And my stomach, I was holding so tight, I didn't even feel anything. But that was a surprise for me. At least once a year, try to travel. It could be to the nearby city. It could be to another county. But travel. Do something at least once a year. Wow. This one I love also. Have fun by yourself. It doesn't take a lot of people around you for you to have fun and then laugh at yourself when you are having fun. This last one ties into that. Learn to laugh at your mistakes. Today alone, several things have happened and I just have to step back and chuckle. I have to step back and chuckle. That does several things, even for your mental and your physical body. It helps to eliminate and decrease the stress that you're dealing with. Now, I want to flip to the other side and talk about things not to do. For us as women, especially in the role of being a pastor's wife or a bishop's wife, we have to learn not to overcommit. In training, I tell people we have to learn to say no gracefully. And there's actually a book out about that. It's okay to say, I would love to be able to do that, but at this time, I've overcommitted myself, but please keep me in mind for the next time when that comes around. Don't rely on others to make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. Don't feel guilty for taking me time. You deserve to close that bathroom door, to get a hot bubble bath, or just to sit there if you're like me. I love to listen to audiobooks. I don't have to apologize for being in my room in the chair with a blanket over me, holding my dog, Miss Chocolate, in my lap, and listening to an audiobook. I don't have to make excuses for it. I also like the next one. Don't second guess your decisions. You've already thought about it before you did it. Right or wrong? Right or wrong? Don't second guess it. The next one, don't compare yourself to others. I love me some Sheila. And you may sound, well, that sounds a little, sadistic, or she's a little stuck on herself. No, I'm not. Because I don't love me. How can I expect you to love me or someone else to love me? I have to love myself first. And because I love myself, that's where the self-care comes in. That's where the self-care comes in. We also have to learn to change our vocabulary. You have to change your vocabulary, my sisters. Here are some words that I want you to toss from your vocabulary that are going to promote optimism, and also is going to promote this I can mentality. I want you to drop have to for get to. I get to work out in the gym today. I don't have to, but I get to. It's a privilege. It's an honor, something that I get to do. I want you to swap the word problem for situation. We have used that word problem. We hear it in the news, we hear it in the church, we hear it in our work life, we hear it in our home. Everything is a problem. I want you to begin to say, we have a situation that we need to discuss. Even when I say it, it softens the tension in a room. By not calling it a problem, by simply just swapping out the words from problem to situation. Situation sounds a lot softer. I want you to trade mistakes for the word valuable lessons. I'll say that again. I want you to trade in the word mistakes for valuable lessons. We all learn from our valuable lessons. And I'm going to tell you, we've had some lessons, my sisters, that may have cost us. But if you come away the same person that you were prior to you going in, I want you to go back and take another look at that. Because there's some valuable lessons to be learned. Sheila, what are you talking about? The prime one, you won't do it again. That's number one. You won't go down that path again. You look at how it impacted you. You look at how it impacted others. The last one I want to talk about when it comes to vocabulary is change bad to unwise. The choice I made today was unwise. How many of you, and let's be honest here, and I'll even raise my hand on this one, have told your spouse, your children, that was a bad choice? I see your hands are raised. Yes. Because we do it. That's the word we go to when we want to define something that's negative, that we feel is negative. So we pin that word, bad, on it. Let's remove that word and let's change it to unwise. When you change that word again, just like I stated about mistakes, that sets the tone to be totally different Because sometimes bad sounds degrading to the person that you're talking to or talking about. When I use the word unwise, it sets a different tone in the room. It's time for you to be absolutely fabulous, my sisters. This one I absolutely love because I do it a lot. You have to upgrade old things. Old things. I don't know about you, but if you look in my work car, I have a stack this thick from the Goodwill where I have taken things and they have given me my receipt back. Replace the stuff that's out of date, that you're not wearing, and this is what I feel. If you've not had it on in a year, over a year, the probability is you're not going to put it on. Why not let it be a blessing to somebody else? Now hear me, I'm not saying take your old raggedy things to the Goodwill. No. They know me at the Goodwill. They're like, Dr. Sheila, we're glad to see you come. And you know what they say to me? Because you don't bring us junk. So, get rid of it. Purge things that are no longer needed in your house. Go through your cabinets. Get rid of all those mismatched plates and cups and forks and get rid of that stuff. Go to Walmart, go to Target, Home Goods store, and buy you an 8 complete piece set of dinnerware. Buy new things like, ladies, clothing, undergarments, and towels. When's the last time you went out and purchased undergarments? I can say I did it 2 weeks ago. Get rid of that old stuff. This one I like. You need to purge some negative people out of your life, because the negative ones have you so bound. The new ones that God is sending for you to minister to, for you to mentor, for you to counsel, can't get in because of all the negativity you have around you. Keep up with where you are in life. Where are you today, my sisters? Is it where you were last year this time? 2 years ago this time? Is it where you were last year when the pandemic had first started? Have you grown? Have you made any progress? That's a self-test for you. And if you journal, I'm going to, admonish you to write it down. Keep up with where you are. Where are you right now? Where are you? Let's talk about some nuggets of wisdom to inspire you on your journey. You have to find what feeds your spirit. I know for me, I read affirmations and scriptures every morning. I send them out to people on Mondays and Fridays. When I say send them out, First Lady Guthrie knows I've been doing this for over 4 years. 4 years. It started off with a small list of people that I was sharing with. Now, my message goes all over the country. That message hits over 2,000 people plus on Mondays and Fridays, all before 6:30 a.m. It feeds my spirit. That feeds my spirit to bless others. You have to make it happen, my sisters. It's not going to happen by osmosis. You can sit and wish it and hope it and even pray for it, but then you have to do something. What are you willing to do? You have to make it happen. For example, I'm sure some of you are saying, I want to get with those young people, or I want to do X and X with Sister Somebody. Well, if God gave it to you to do, then God is waiting on you to do it. And this one, people, you have to keep in mind, my sisters, people see you even when you don't see them. Haven't you been someplace, church, wherever, and people will say to you, I saw you last week. The first thing you do, you don't verbalize it, but you start thinking, what did I have on when they saw me? Where was I? What was I looking like? What was I saying? You have to remember that you're front and center stage 24/7. 24/7. Refueling yourself daily is powerful. And this one I love for us in ministry. Don't allow your title to define you. You define the title. Ministers' wives, first ladies. Someone used the terminology, they called me elect lady. I was like, excuse me? I said, my name is Dr. Sheila. I do not want people to feel that the first lady prefix makes Sheila who she is. Sheila defines the first lady role. Be careful, my sisters. Be careful, be careful, be careful about the title. It's not about the title. It's who you are as an individual and what you are doing. It's all about the self-care and giving and doing. All too often, we simply don't nourish ourselves with restorative habits to counterbalance the difficult things we experience. What do you mean, Sheila? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. How many of you eat one healthy meal at least today? I'll just stop so you can think. Because you're probably thinking, I don't know, Sheila, what do you mean? How do you start your morning? How do you end your evening? What are you putting into this temple? They had this little cute little cartoon thing. They had it at Cracker Barrel maybe about 20 years ago. And you could press this box. It was a box. And you could press it, and the voice on the inside of the box would say, "Let me out of here! Let me out of here! Let me out of here!" How many of you right now, even God is saying to us, let me out of here. Let me out. You say you have me. You say you love me. But does anybody else know that? Have anybody else even experienced that? I'm talking about self-care, my sisters. When's the last time you went to the park and took a walk just to hear the birds sing? Or even to tell people that were on the walking track, hello. Let me share with you what COVID has done for me. COVID has put me in touch with me. With me, my weight, my eating habits, how I spend my time, what I do within that time that I have throughout the day. That's what I have garnered from being with COVID and the Lord. I've gone back to the self-care with Sheila. With Sheila, for Sheila. Don't you agree that when you're happy, it's easier to do for other people than when you're sad? It makes all the difference in the world because it just beams off of you like a light. Other people will start smiling because you're smiling. There's enough going on in life every single day, and I can testify to it. Having lost 2 sisters and my brother, all in a matter of, my son, not my brother, excuse me, my son, and all in a matter of 3.5 years. I can tell you, people would say, oh, I don't see how you're doing it. And I would look at them and say, what do you mean? How can I not do it? God's been too good to me. He's been too good to you. He's been too good to us. Go back to some self-care. Get back in touch with you. You know, after COVID, some of you all put on those clothes you wore pre-COVID, and you're like, something's wrong with those clothes because they're not fitting right. It's not the clothes. It's you. You've got to go back and walk away those pounds. Go back and get yourself back in shape. Get yourself back in tune with God. God dwells in this temple. I don't want him in there screaming, let me out of here. I don't want him screaming that in my temple. That's not what I want the Lord to say. Well, believe it or not, this is the end of my session with you. And the one clip art I have on here, it says, nothing can change God's love for you. Nothing. That word is spelled N-O-T-H-I-N-G. Can change it. And the next slide on the other side simply says, take care of yourself. I challenge you, my sisters, as you're sitting, watching this video clip, whether you're at home, in the evening, whether you're simply watching it in the morning, take the time to hear the words and the message that I'm speaking. It is time for you. It's time for us. It's time for me. It's time for all of us to practice self-care. You go back and look at those scriptures that I talked about at the very beginning. At the very beginning. Take time for you, and I admonish you as I end to stay healthy, safe, and blessed. I love you to life. God bless you. Thank you